Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now before we get into today's video, I was at my parents' house the other day and their garden had sprung into life, pardon the pun. So I took a little video and I'd love to share it with you now. Hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome to a very changeable plot today. The weather is very changeable anyway, and Mark and I are both here. It is Monday the 30th of March and Mark is just building the second bean frame like the one he built before for me. Yesterday he very kindly came up and did some prep work so that I could plant up the area at the side of the shed. Now if you remember last time or the time before, I gave it a good weed and he's been up and prepped it even more. Now what I wanted, the sunglasses are going to be needed again. What I wanted was to create a division between the bed and the wood chip path. So I was thinking about lawn edging and things, and the more I thought about it, the more I realised that actually a raised bed would be really handy there. But the raised bed would have to go butt up against the boundary with the neighbour so that there wasn't a gap that would get weedy and I wouldn't be able to get in. Because I don't want to go walking on my neighbour's plot, obviously. So Mark very kindly created that for me yesterday, and he also painted the shed on that side because I knew we needed to paint the shed before we put the plants up because one of the plants is a climber. And he repurposed an old expanding trellis fence that we had from years ago that we never used. It wasn't really fit for purpose, but it is very fit for this purpose, which is having a climbing plant growing up. So yeah, he got all that ready, and then this afternoon, we've come up and I have filled it with 3 bags of compost, so 150 litres of compost, and I am now ready to plant in it. And the first plant that I'm going to tell you about, now if you will have seen most of these plants, or you've heard me talk about them at least if you've been watching my last few videos, but if you are new you won't have a clue, so I will show you. The first plant is this rose. Now I already have this rose at home and it is a beautiful rose. It's called Peach Melba. It's a climbing rose, and it really, the first year I had it in a planter, a big deep planter, and it grew so brilliantly and it just flowered for months, and it wasn't until the frosts that it actually finally gave up. And yeah, it is a beautiful colour and it's going to go against the fence. It is what side is it? It's east facing, so it should be okay. So that's the first one I'm going to plant out, and then the other plants, and I haven't decided where. I know where the rose is going, but I haven't decided where the rest of them are going. I've brought 3 Verbena bonariensis plants. I don't think I'll plant all 3 in that bed, but maybe 1 or 2, definitely 1, maybe 2. This is a plant that I will never be without in a cottage garden. We've got 3 of those. Next up, I have got Erysimum. This is Ball's Mauve, or perennial wallflower. Now I don't know how well this will do because this is actually a brassica and we have clubroot on the allotment. So we will see how this will go. But I'm willing to risk it, take a punt. Oh, we definitely don't need those anymore, do we? Honestly, the weather at the moment in the UK is just up and down. Very, very changeable, very windy. So yes, it's a lovely lovely long flowering perennial, and they're quite short-lived perennials, might be very short-lived with the clubroot on the plot, but they do flower a long time and the bees will absolutely love them, which is kind of one of the major points of doing this. Next up, I have got a salvia, and this is Salvia Nemrosa caradonna. This is one of the longest flowering herbaceous salvias that you can get, and it looks not much now, but it will be lovely eventually, and that is a blue colour. Then we've got a couple of achilleas. Now I got these. I got this terracotta one a few weeks ago, and you've seen it already. This is quite a tall plant, and the fence around this area is 3 foot. So what I wanted was a good few plants that will grow up and above, and will reach the sun. Not reach the sun. That would be ridiculous. But they'll reach for the sun, because this gets to up to 1.5 meters. So that's quite a tall one, and that is Achillea terracotta. Yeah. This next one I've never heard of before until I got it the other day. I bought 3 of them, so I've got 2 for the garden at home. This is up to 1 meter as well, and this is Achillea colorado. But if it flowers like that, how amazing will that be? You can see the price there as well. But yeah, so that's going to go in as well. And then I have a couple of geraniums. So I have brought one of my bigger geranium roseanne. Geranium roseanne is the longest flowering geranium, and it is an absolutely amazing plant. It is a bluey purple colour, and it will look really, really lovely in that spot. And then I got another hardy geranium. Because the bare root collection I got came with 4 of these and not 3, I've brought one up. And this is geranium album, and this is white. I think what this border is missing is a bit more white, actually, because the moths love white. So I will add some more white into there. And then lastly, the last plant that I've brought up is this scabious. If you remember, I got 3 for the home garden. Well, I've put 2 into terracotta pots, and I thought, you know what, I'll bring this up because it's in bloom now and it's a bit of flower. And this is butterfly blue, and it is a beautiful, beautiful. It wouldn't normally be flowering at this time of year, but I got it from a garden centre around Mother's Day, and I think they're basically, just grown in greenhouses. But it's been outside in my garden for a week and a half now, so it should be good. So yeah, so I'm going to go take these over and think about where we're going to put them. We'll start with the rose and work down from there. Let's go. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me in spite of the wind. So this is what I think I've decided on. I've left some of the plants out because these are going to grow to sizable plants, many of them, and I can add in some annuals as well in the meantime, because they're not going to grow necessarily that big this year, but over time they will. So let me explain my choices. So the Achillea terracotta is going in the back corner there, because although it's the smallest at the moment, it will not stay that way, and that will grow to approximately 50 centimetres and around here, and they do send runners and they will expand. So I do expect if it is happy here that it will continue to grow up a little bit more. The scabious is very much a mound forming plant and will sort of spread, but will take its time, and it will stay quite low. So that will be lower at the front, and then the Achillea will be tall at the back. I may find something for in between at some point, maybe annuals, just to give that sort of intermediate height in between. Next up, at the back there, you can see I've put the 2 Verbena bonariensis plants. Verbena bonariensis are tall and narrow plants that will just sort of wave about in between other things and look really lovely. I'm putting the rose sort of in the middle there, so then that Verbena bonariensis will go sort of behind it and will look really lovely with it. And I've put salvia at the bottom because salvia is a really good plant for underplanting roses. I love roses, but I don't like to see too much of the stem. So yeah, there'll be salvias there, and I will probably add in some annuals around here for now, for this year, just to give a little bit of extra interest while these plants grow up. The Erysimum bulls mauve there is a fast growing plant, and that will get reasonably big this year. It won't get massively tall, but it will fill out the space and absolutely flower profusely. And the geranium album at the front is a small mound forming perennial and will probably grow quite slowly, but it will put on a good growth this year, but it might grow quite slowly. I am tempted actually thinking about it to maybe move the erysimum over this way a bit, because actually, let me take you over here and we'll have a look. This is my very messy annual bed from last year. You can see it's going to be good. We've got some foxgloves growing and things. But last year, I planted out some Shasta daisies. There's only 2 of them actually. Now there were 3, but I think one might not have survived because it kept getting eaten. This is Lacantharum Crazy Daisy. Although I could... No, do you know what? I think I will leave it here. There's one. There's one, and there's another. I actually do have a Shasta daisy at home that I could bring up. So I think that's what I'll do. Because I'm thinking, like I said, there's a bit of white missing really from this area. Also, I am going to be growing Cosmos Purity, but they get really, really tall. And maybe a bit bigger than I want. So yes, that's what I'll do. I will bring up the Shasta daisy from home and I will plant it here in this gap. And then we've got some whites. So really, it's going to be a lot of purple, white, and then the peach and the terracotta colour, peachy pink and terracotta. And I think that's going to look really lovely. So I will get planting that now. Okay, so I've planted up all of that, but what I actually decided was to plant the geranium album a little bit more to the side, because I actually have some more geraniums that I could bring and put up here as well. So I think what I'll do is I'll find a different geranium to go here, because they are slower growing, and then I'll put the Shasta daisy there, and yeah, that should be okay. So that should all grow quite nicely now. Hopefully they'll be very happy here. And as necessary, I'll just, like I said, supplement with annuals. But there's not a lot of room in here for anything extra, but because I love cottage garden style, I do like it when we don't see ground and the earth. I could even actually put a couple of little abricias on here just for some kind of spilling out onto the over the edge. We'll see. Could do with some more wood chip as well actually. So yeah, now I could go and get the other plants because I've got them at home, but I'm not going to because I've only got another 45 minutes left to go till I have to pick the kids up. And there are a couple of other things that I've brought with me, which I'm going to go show you now. Let's go have a look. Oh, the herb planter's looking okay. Yes, I have brought up some gooseberries and my rhubarb, and I've got some of those other plants that I haven't planted out yet. So I also want to move the chives possibly, but I'll wait to do that until I've got the compost to actually fill this up. Oh look, 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 look. And so it begins. So yes, I think I would like to plant up some more plants near the pond. So the gooseberries are going to just go along this fence. There's only 3 of them. But yeah, the pond's not looking great. The Lobelia cardinals looks really dead, but it's still alive. The Erigeron's looking very dead. I'd like to get some of these weeds out of here. But I am thinking of putting one of the Achilleas up here. Maybe against that wall there. And some Verbena bonariensis, and the Geranium roseanne I was thinking of putting here, because then that's with the Erigeron Kavinscianus there, the Geranium roseanne. The Geranium roseanne will fill out and will become quite a decent size. It won't get very tall, but it will need dividing and can propagate easily from them. Really, really amazing plants. So yeah, that might work. I've seen lots of people's marsh marigolds flowering. Mine isn't. Things aren't looking so great, but it's a cold little corner. I'm going to get rid of that planter from there and maybe take that home as well. So yes, that's the plan. So I'm going to come in and get some weeds out first. Scrape back some of the wood chip. Shows how quickly this rots away though, because we used quite a lot last year. But yeah, and then we'll see what we can get done. Right, change of plan. So I went and pulled back some of the wood chip, and the ground is absolutely waterlogged. So Geranium roseanne, Verbena bonariensis, Achillea, none of those 3 plants are going to like being having their roots, their feet wet, essentially. So we're going to go back to the drawing board, and we're either going to think of another way to plant them, somewhere else to plant them, or just rethink the plants altogether. So I'll have a think. Also, I'm sorry today I can't film us actually working too much because the wind will blow the tripod and the camera or the phone over, and the rain keeps coming as well. So I don't want to damage my phone. I've not had it that long. So Mark's just fixing the polytunnel doors, and I'm just pottering about, really, doing a bit of weeding here and a weeding there, and having a good look at the bed at the side of the polytunnel to see what's growing in there. Now, that is a bed that often gets waterlogged because it gets all the runoff from the polytunnel. However, last year it was really dry and things did not do well, but I'm hoping for some good self-seeding. I've just taken some of the plant stems, the dead stems from last year, down and put them in the compost bin. But yeah, the Shasta daisy is coming back. The perennial sunflower is coming back, but it's got some slug damage. I have noticed that some of my broad beans have been pecked at, so I'm going to cover those back up and just see what damage there is. Yeah, and then it's going to be time to pick the kids up. So you and me will go home, and through the week we'll see what there is to do there, which is a lot, to be honest. There's a lot. Look at this. This is red valerian. It grows so well here, and it annoys me so much because it just does not seed anywhere else. I'm going to collect the seeds and actually do something with them this year. This is not good. That's a elder growing there. I need to get rid of that. There's lots of weeding to do, as you can see. It's that time of year when things are starting to grow up. Haven't got my gooseberries in yet. That might wait again as well. So let's go up here and have a look. Then I'll show you. Yeah, got a couple of weeds out, but not much. But yes, it's very, I won't peel it back again, but you can see, I mean, this is rotting really quickly because we've had such a wet winter. So it's no wonder, really. Yeah, lots of weeding to be done. Mark pulled up the flags the other day and got rid of the bramble again. It'll no doubt keep coming back. And we do want to take this table and chairs home again, just temporarily, before we get the arbour that we'd like for the space. So strawberries going to come up. I'm going to take some of these strawberries home and put them in planters, actually. Yeah, looks cute down there. But yeah, so we should have some foxgloves coming back up here. Hope you can hear me. I do think I put some hardy geraniums in here last year. There's lots of creeping buttercup, obviously, because that's everywhere. The Shasta daisies, the rosemary. The rosemary will be coming into flower soon, hopefully. My neighbour's is flowering. But yeah, lots of weeds. The antirrhinums haven't survived as well here as they have at home. Should have some poppies in here. Usually get self-seeded poppies in here. I just leave the heads on. Oh, there you go, look. There's a little hardy geranium there. I think that's a pink or a purpley one. Can't remember now. But yeah, I'm hoping this will be better this year. These Shasta daisies, Leucanthemum crazy daisy, are absolutely incredible. The amount of flowers, when they're happy and they grow to full size, the amount of flowers they have on is just stunning. So yeah, looks really messy now, but I'm going to edge it, not now, but we will edge it, weed it, replant it up, and a lot of this will be planted up in late spring when the frosts have passed. Oh, honestly, it's lovely weather. Hello. Plug plants. I finally got round to potting them all up. I think I've lost one for definite, and there's about 3 that are looking a bit ropey, to say the least, but everything else looks okay. And actually, my penstemons arrived. Unfortunately, I did film the unboxing of this, but it didn't work. So these are penstemon electric blue, and they look incredible. Apparently they are quite a short-lived perennial. But yes. Now, Darren from Gardening with Dogs thinks I have got a plant problem, and I think he might be right. If you're not familiar with Darren, I really enjoy his channel. Yeah, Gardening with Dogs. Who could ask for more, right? And actually, his lovely wife Kirsten also has a channel, Kirsten's Curiosities. I will link them both in the description. I love Kirsten's channel as well. She's a reseller. They both are, actually. And she sells a lot of vintage things. Now, I have a bit of a thing for vintage. I have a bit of a collection. I have 1940s utility china. I have some Hornsey pottery, and just I used to really, really love old Pyrex, the white one, the milk glass, the white stuff with the pictures on. I don't really have much of that anymore. I have a bit in the attic, but that's it. And I once did try to become a sort of vintage seller, and the first thing I sold got smashed in the post, and I gave it up as a bad job. So yes, I do enjoy watching her channel for all of those interesting bits that she sells on her website, and you can find all the links in her descriptions in her videos if you're interested. Now, another one of my favorite channels. You might remember at the beginning of this year I said I wasn't really doing seed sowing this year. Of course I'm going to have to sow seeds if I can't buy them, the varieties I want as plants. However, a couple of days after I put that video out, the lovely Ali at my rusty garden asked me if I wanted some tomato seeds, and me being me, I went, yeah, of course I do. Of course I want seeds. And so she sent me a lovely card and some lovely seeds. And so these are the only tomatoes that I am going to be growing from seed. The rest are going to be your pretty standard varieties that I'm going to be buying from nurseries and garden centres. And so I thought I'd talk about a few of these that I've got here. I'm just going to list them. Some I'm familiar with, some I'm not. So we'll start with Beauty King, and also she's labelled them lovely, been labelled, and some of them have got people's names on because they've been sent to her and they've swapped seeds. So that's really lovely. So we've got Beauty King, we've got Antho Dwarf Striped, oops, we've got Indigo Apple from Wild Boar Farms, and Pineapple Pig from Wild Boar Farms. And we've got Sanitum Sunrise, and it says Diggy, and I think that might be Digwell. Ali will let me know if it is, and if it is, I will tag him. I've got Honeycomb, I've got Black Russian Cherry Tomato, and I've got Costoluto Fiorentino, which I have grown before, and that is from Elaine. I'm not familiar with Elaine, Ali, so maybe you could let me know who Elaine is, so we can give some credit if she's on YouTube. And so those are the ones I'm going to be sowing. Now, I've done a little bit of potting up in the garden. I've had another apple tree arrive. So I've bought, I'm going to show you it. I bought apple tickled pink, right? And I bought that on the recommendation of Danny at Grow Up Channel. Another one of my favourite channels that you should definitely check out if you're not familiar. But you probably are if you're watching me. Check him out anyway. And he recommended tickled pink. It's a beautiful apple tree. I've looked it up and I ordered it. Of course I did. Of course I bought it. And I'm growing that in a pot. Now it's on dwarfing rootstock. I can't remember which one. I think it's an M9, but I will pop down here if I'm wrong. But the problem with tickled pink is that it is not a self-fertile apple. So a self-fertile apple tree only requires itself for pollination. So when the bees and the other pollinators come, they can interpollinate with the flowers on that same tree. But when you've got a non-self-fertile variety like tickled pink, you need another apple tree close by. So if you can get a self-fertile tree, even better, because a self-fertile tree will pollinate itself, but it will also pollinate other trees. And if there are other trees in the same area, those trees will pollinate the self-fertile tree, which will then produce even more, potentially. So I went for a self-fertile tree. I went for Braeburn, and again, it's on an M9 rooting stock, dwarf rootstock, so it shouldn't get too big. They're both going to be grown in pots, and they can like it or lump it, frankly, because I haven't got room for them in the garden, in the ground. And they're also part of the same pollination group. So apple trees have pollinator groups, and it basically relates to when they're actually in flower. So if you've got two apple trees that are not in flower at the same time, it's not going to be much good for the pollination. But if they flower at the same time, then it's going to work. Hope my rambling makes some kind of sense. So I've bought those. Now the Braeburn apple I got from Yew Garden. I've got a few things from them lately. The big geranium roseannes and things like that. But the apple tree, I was really surprised by how it came. It came in a very big box Now it's a bare root, and I know what a bare root plant looks like. I've had many bare root roses and other trees over the years, but there was nothing. Normally you would get a bare root in a plastic bag. The roots would be in a plastic bag with some compost, and this was nothing. It was just loose in a box. The box was quite large. It was taller than me, and it was just rolling around in there, and a lot of the roots had broken off inside the box. And so I gave it a really good soak, and then I got it planted out straight away into the pot. Now there are some leaf buds showing, so it is alive, but I wouldn't package a bare root tree like that just free to fly around in the box, because everything else I've had from them has been really well packaged and I've been happy with, which is why I ordered something else. I wouldn't write them off as a company over this, but I was quite surprised, and I kind of half expected that tree not to grow, but it has, so I'm happy in spite of that. Now I've planted up two of my hydrangeas. Mark went to B&Q yesterday to pick up some pots for me. I really like the B&Q pots. The larger ones are £12.50, and I think they're 37.5 centimetres across. And then the next size down are £6.50. They're a 9 litre pot, but I think they might be 27.5. But they're a good intermediate size. So they're quite big, but they're not the biggest. So I'm going to plant up the rest of them. But the hydrangeas that I've potted up are blue hydrangeas, and so I did put them in ericaceous compost. You know, again, Darren, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, there is a there is a 4-acre field at the back of my house, and I think I've probably got enough to plant it up. I wish, right? I wish. So this came with the penstemons. These are from J. Parker's, and they were really nicely packaged and they're really healthy plants. This is a clematis that is bursting to get out of the pot. This is Blue Angel. Now, I cannot remember much about it. It's blue, and it's either a group 2 or group 3, but I'm not sure. And this I got from B&Q the other day, and this is a Nepeta Farcini. I don't know. But the Peters are very long flowering perennials, and we know I love the blues and the purples to go with all the other colours that I have. So, yes, it looks really nice. So, I have waffled enough, ladies and gentlemen. So, I will see you in a few days. It's time to start sowing the tomatoes and getting the rest of my seeds sown. Like I said, I will be sowing some. I've got an order in for some cosmos seeds because I love cosmos, so we're going to be sowing a few different varieties, which I'll share with you next time. But until then, I will see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.